Hey guys, welcome to my daily video. I just wanted to do a little intro because I wasn't happy with the one I had. Today we will just take a close look at problems. We will search for problem. We will look at every plant and decide, does this thing have the right size to flower? What does it need? Did it have a poor spot over winter? Or maybe there's a urgent repotting situation that needs to be done. Maybe not enough water, not enough fertilizer last year. All these things can cause non-flowering the next season. So we will take a close look at a few selected plants that I want to push a little bit, that I want to push with you. We will pick out a few plants and I will explain why I see potential in them. And then we will try to get them to flower, despite the fact that they were doing so poorly at the beginning. A lot of them didn't look like they might be flowering in 3 or 4 years. And now they already have flower buds this year. So now's the time when you can make a big difference. Now you can change things for the better. And if you have a good grow space with light, with sun, you can do wonders with that. Around this time, early spring, when you're going into the flowering season, then you pick the best spots for the plants that need more light, need more love. You spray them, you water them a lot. Everything they need, you give them. Alright, let's have a look for the problems. Finding plants that have potential is your whole job at this point, because in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it might already be too late. They take a while until you have them in flower. Yeah, and at some point the inner urge to flower just goes away, because you also need to have time to grow the fruit. And if they do not have enough time to grow the fruit in the season, they might not flower at all. They might produce a flower fluff and not act on it. Okay, yeah, more videos like this are coming soon. We are doing a lot of practical stuff now. So these I want to push. The one besides it too, but it's already flowering. So my job is done with this one. Do not need to do much apart from keeping it healthy, making sure that it doesn't drop the flower buds again because of drought. Yeah, might have to move a few plants around, some in the shade, because they cannot take in enough nutrients in here in full sun. But yeah, apart from that, I just want to record so we can go back later and take a look at the plants and the growth rates and everything, and be pleased with ourselves. Be happy about how much actual growth we got. And it's not just growth, it's healthy growth. Sometimes you have plants that just react by putting a lot of water into them, but that's not what we are doing here. They get a lot of water, but they lose a lot of water too. They are at a very, very exposed spot here, and right now they are just using it up. I water them one day, and within 2 hours or 3, the water's already gone. Everything's fairly fast draining here. Long term, I want to move away from that. But for now, it's just necessary for the seedlings. This kind of size does very well in a mineral soil, while later I can work very well with a organic soil on a large trichocereus. They are just a little bit hardy. They can take it. You just have to adapt your watering schedule. Here's a plant that I recorded last year for the Cactus Doctor channel. Did a little segment on it. I repotted it. I gave it care. Didn't have a good spot over winter, but it's still on the way to outgrowing the nutrient deficiency that it had, but it's still very yellow. So this will take a while. It is not because it didn't get enough fertilizer or something like that. It's just, it takes like a year for it to fully recover. And yeah, you can already see it got some new green that it didn't have last year. So last 2 days I was really sick. I'm not sure what happened. It came from nothing. I was just sitting there and I get more and more headaches, really bad headaches. I wasn't even able to walk into the kitchen to get me something to drink or something to eat. So I laid there one day, one night in total delirium. And when I was just about to drive to the stroke unit, because I felt like I might have a stroke, it went away again. It went away like it came. So now I'm on my feet again. I'm very happy that I'm out. Didn't miss much in the greenhouses, but still I got a little bit to catch up. So let's have a look. In here we have the same situation. Picking plants that need the work, that need the extra work, that weren't doing nicely before. Focusing on everything that stays behind. For another maybe 2 weeks or so, you can still manage to turn the ship around. I just wish I had more good spots. That is the one thing that I really would love to have. Good spots for the plants, because you can imagine how they would do if they had a similar spot than my first greenhouse, which gets sun a few hours earlier in the morning. This greenhouse needs a lot of work to keep it free of trees around it, but after 1 p.m. it still gets full sun until the evening. So it's not a dark greenhouse, but it's 2 hours or so where it gets sunlight later. And of course this also makes a difference in regards to the flowering. So I collect vintage clothes, vintage tracksuits, everything that's funky and looks flashy from the 80s, 90s. And now I bought a like new tracksuit, and I want to show you how it looks like. So this is my like new tracksuit that I just unpacked. Never worn. It looks like someone lived in it for a month, but it gets better. Hair. Let me show you all the spots that are on that. Fewer from me now, so but yeah, here. Check this out. This looks like blood. Like new. So I'm pretty sick, but I got myself out of bed just to open doors, have a look at things. Everything's alright. Was pretty hot in the greenhouses. Doors were closed during the day. They're pretty hot, but I think it will be alright. It was a cold day, so you can do it. On a hot day, it would get too hot in the greenhouse, but right now they look great. They enjoyed it probably. I wanted to give you a little update about the flower bud size. They are growing pretty fast, and in the next days I might have to take down some from the shelf, especially the one behind there, because the flower buds might reach the roof eventually, and I do not want them to press against the window. This greenhouse here is just a little bit behind. Not much, but a little bit. And you mostly see it on the plants in the back, which just have worse spots in winter. During winter time, the spot is important, because you need a somewhat bright spot to give them a decent, safe overwintering. Later today, I will continue to push the plants that are still that are in the middle of not flowering, that are still not flowering. Later, I will continue to push the plants that are not flowering yet. They are my main priority from now on, because everything else works decent. Of course, I need to water the other ones too. Later, I would put the hose into the greenhouse, spray them a little bit, just to make sure they have enough water to grow the fruit. At this phase, they can start to abort the flower buds. For example, here, this plant is on my list because I felt like the soil is too dry. Soil is lava, and the lava soil performed so poorly in regards to holding humidity, that I know that I need to water it a little bit more often to avoid problems with the plant dropping the flower buds completely. Well, that's the state right now. I mean, luckily I didn't miss much during my phase where I had a migraine or something like that. It was pretty bad yesterday. I couldn't walk, but it suddenly went away the same way it came. Mr. Squirrel? Oh yeah, there. Squirrel is alright. I think he's there. Somewhere there's a red tail sticking through. There. Just not. Yeah, there he is. Very happy that the hawk didn't eat the squirrel. He belongs here too. Just gotta appreciate how nice these look now. You always gotta see things under the pretense that a lot of these looked like crap just recently. This plant here, the scars should tell you how poor of a spot it had. This plant still has problems a little bit, skin problems, and maybe a little bit of spider mite problem here and there. But overall, there's new growth everywhere. It will just take a few more months and it will look like new. This one here is a Hildewinterer Paranoy hybrid. Hildewinterer Aurei Spina crossed with Paranoy. And the flowers are nice. I've seen them a few times. And I repotted this plant in a very mineral soil. And now it looks great. Mineral soil, full sun. This is the type of stuff that where the Hildewinterer do well here. This one I didn't pollinate yesterday. This one's flowering, which is great. Gräser hybrid, I think. Really gotta try to find the label when I take the plant out. This is Fairs 12 plant. Recovered nicely too. Normally, they would even look better now. But it's alright, I'll take it how it is. Kinda reminded them to to flower. This one I'm very glad that because it actually had terminated the growth, so it's not impossible to bring it back. But this one, it took very long until it produced healthy growth again. We'll probably water later today, but right now I'm just trying to find, I don't know, motivation. This one came through nicely too. Trying to do all these regular updates so you can go back and look at the plants and look at the way they just changed over a month. I hit a cactus spine in the finger, but I think it didn't break off. There are just too many cacti in here. I decided we will put up a few trail cams that we are hiding in the bushes somewhere. Few different ones, because I want to see what's walking around here all the time and what is taking a dump in my garden at night. I'm sure we would see foxes, ferrets, deer, maybe a badger here and there, because we've had them quite a lot. So yeah, there will be trail cams in the future. In here, yeah, you can see that the plants that I've been pushing are suddenly starting to flower too. And the ones that are not flowering, at the very least, they're growing healthily, which is, for me, the most important thing. You always think about long-term health and then you think about the flowering. It means nothing if you have a flowering plant that is just so stressed that it dies. So over there, let me show you where. Okay, here. These are Zelly hybrids with arboricola. The left one, not left, from you in center, the one is already flowering. There are 3 besides it that are not flowering. I will push these. I'm sure that they will flower this year, or at least 1 or 2 of them. These 2 are big enough, the one at the base not, but maybe we are lucky. We will do our best. Now I will get my sprayer and spray a little bit. Mostly plants that need it, nothing else. I do not want to over fertilize, just plants that did not get anything, or I don't know, where they look like crap, where you feel like something can change if you spray it a little bit. Okay, gotta start with the seedlings because the seedlings are bone dry. They're taking apart half of the forest. But the trees do not look healthy, so maybe it's necessary. Maybe someone of you can explain why they're doing that. I mean, it feels a little bit like, I don't know, destruction of the forest. But if you look at the trees, they look deadish. So yeah, maybe it's just necessary. So I'm watering again. Just want to stress how big of a part the watering is. How much of a difference it makes when the plants get a lot of water like they do in nature. We're not overwatering. We're giving them a lot of water, the same amount that they would get in nature. It's just they're in small pots and they can store a lot, so sometimes you need to repeat it. Right now I'm especially watering the ones that we've been pushing, that we said we want to push. I water the others too, but these get a little bit more. And you will see they will repay us with flowers. Don't forget to water the sick ones that are in the shade. I put these aside where the sun doesn't reach them, but they need water too. Water, fertilizer, if they want to have a chance to recover. So we need another few centimeters to reach the greenhouse. I need to buy a longer tube. I cannot do it with this tube anymore. I barely come in. This sucks. Low budget, like I said. Wanted to buy a longer tube a couple of years ago. But a good one costs like 60 bucks or so. Maybe 40. And you usually spend the money for other stuff. There's so much bills to pay when you're a cactus breeder. You do not get rich from being a cactus breeder. But it's a great outlet. It's a great art form. You will see when we show the flowers of our own hybrids that we created ourselves. It will be one of the most rewarding feelings you feel. Because it's something you created that would not be here if it weren't for you. Yeah. Oh, this sucks, man. I think I'm ripping the tube out of the wall to get a little bit more. I'm really bothered by this. This is the end of my workday for now. I might do a little bit more later, but for now I've reached my limit, my time limit that I set for myself. There were times when I didn't take enough time for myself and for the family, for my family and the pets that I have. So now I always am on the clock, setting limits, and it helps me to not burn out. I just want to say a few more things about today's video. I think it becomes clear what my method is. My method to induce flowering, my method to get plants healthy that are not healthy, my method to induce healthy new growth when the plant looked like crap before. And you can walk through the collection now and pick any plant where I've taken care of, where I really set my eyes on and said, this needs something, that didn't improve. You always have plants that just expire because you didn't get to them in time, and sometimes it can be delayed, sometimes over a few months, but everything that's alive and kicking is now doing so much better. I want to walk through the collection again now, just to show you what we did in the last month. It's just 1 month of heavy work to induce flowering, to water, to induce health. Because last year they did not get enough water, and lack of water can be like very bad. It's one of the big problems that will eventually catch up with the plant. So let's walk through the collection and have a look. In here, I mean, this is the most obvious, right? I've shown this greenhouse a few times, and I just want to stress it again. Even the ones that are not healthy, that are not flowering, are tremendously healthy now. We just made sure that they have everything they need. It doesn't take much. We haven't been using crazy chemicals here. We use a fertilizer for commercial crops and water. I think here it becomes very obvious. So many of the plants which had terminated and are now actively growing again. You can see at everything you look there, you see the new growth. Of course, some of it is also because in spring everything starts growing, but it's not comparable to how they would do it if we had just not did the extra work to bring them back on track. In here, I mean the flower buds. It's a product that takes months to build. But even the plants that have no flower buds have recovered so nicely. This one here was in full sun and didn't take it well. I took it out of the sun, gave it a nice spot inside, started treating it better, and now it is glowing up. And it's the same with everything. Of course, you cannot treat all cacti the same. I think that should be obvious, because some species, some genera just do not take a lot of water. It always depends where they come from. And the stuff that I breed with usually takes a fair amount of water. During summer, the rootstock of my plants rarely dries out completely. That is something that I make sure of, because during summer there's not such a huge risk of root rot, and they can use the water at that time. Root rot only becomes a bigger problem when the soil isn't alright, when the roots have mealybugs, stuff like that, or if there's an open wound at base level. But apart from that, during summer, the plants can take a healthy amount of water. And there are limits for everything. I say that in every video. Look at the cactus that you are watering, at the genus of the cactus. Look at how much water it can take, how fast draining the soil must be, these kinds of things. But apart from that, Trichocereus, Echinopsis, Lubivia like a fair amount of water in summer. Even the stuff at the bad spots is growing nicely. If these would be at full sun, we might even be able to get them to flower. Over here. They still need work, but these are looking so much better than they did just a few weeks ago. Same in here. Don't just look at the flower buds, also look at the healthy growth at the tips. A lot of these just came out poorly, the ones that do not have flower buds. Flowering isn't usually an indicator for health, but it can tell you a lot. It can tell you if a plant might have a problem that is hidden in the rootstock, a problem that is hidden in the soil. And if you look at the plants now in here, everything, the one thing they all have in common is the healthy growth at the tip. So yeah, point I'm making: repetition, consistency. What you're doing is almost like a reflex. You cause the plants to react to the care they get, to the water they get, to the sunlight they get, to the nutrients they get. You try to get in touch with their inner programming. Yeah, and it works. I think we've shown that already, and you will see in a month from now, or maybe in two weeks when the first flowers come, you will see the immense power, flower power that they have. And they will also have the power to grow fruit, which I personally think is even more important. You do not need flowers when they do not stay on. That's why I reported my Trichocereus validus. It was just not able to grow the fruit in a long-term way. Like it did grow fruit and then it dropped it sometime. And that is usually a sign for me that I need to report, that I need to do more. And yeah. So what we did here in the past, starting March 15th when the watering started, to now, May 6th, 5th, something like that. We put so much work into the collection, and it was smart work. This wasn't hard bodily work, because I can't do that anymore. We did very precise watering, fertilizing. Sometimes you also need to take out the water can and hit them a little bit with it. But apart from that, we are just trying to remind them about their programming to flower early in the season. Yeah, and that's it. I want to end this video by saying the stuff that I show is also the result of me seeing really, really good breeders in action, or talking with amazing breeders. For example, Reinhard Liske. Reinhard Lisk is one of the best breeders ever. He's on one status with people like the breeder Flying Saucer or Mark Dimmitt, you know. These kinds of old school legends. There are so many old school legends that no one knows or very few people know. The people here in the community know, but there's just not a lot of fame that comes with being a cactus breeder. Yet, we would change that. We would put it on the landscape. But I want to say, what I'm showing here, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. And that matters to me, because I can only show this because I learned it from other people. I picked a little bit of this here, and I picked a little bit of that there. Had long talks with breeders, with a lot of the world's best. And I think this channel allows me to show everything very nicely. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And yeah, talk soon.